Hello there, this is Big Benedict. We're playing Resident Evil 5 on Professional difficulty. This is Chapter 6-1. It's entitled Ship Deck, and it's a long chapter. It's got some challenging areas. One of the first sections that puts you in a trap sequence, I will show you how to not participate in it by killing the 3 enemies who do the ambush. So this section here, as soon as you put the reticle on this guy's head, he starts moving, so get a headshot on him, take out the guy in the tower, lay a proxy mine, do the 180 turn, fall back, go up this ladder. And the reason for this is because there is a guy with a dynamite in his hands constantly chucking them at you. So he's right, where is he? He's the guy with the stun rod, you guys. So just take him out, and then just quickly switch to the shotgun anytime one of these enemies are coming near. But at this point, you won't have too many people left. So, let's see. In one of the earlier videos, I was talking about piercing. You can't pierce through their body armor, and I think I may have said that you could penetrate those, and you can't. I'm sorry about that. It's just you're penetrating through multiple targets. You have to look for the flesh areas on anything that's not covered by armor, because it just doesn't work. But you'll come up here now, and the 3 targets to kill are in the far distance. You may need to upgrade your scope to make sure you have an easier time over here. But they're standing on this up here, so it looks like that guy has a helmet on, so you're gonna have to do a chest shot on him. And then this guy to the right, he's got the stun rod. These 3 guys, like I said, they do the ambush. So if you kill them, you won't have to do the ambush, and you don't want to do it because there's a lot of dogs, and it comes down to luck sometimes because Sheva can't protect herself. It's a common problem. So once you take care of those 3 guys, do you see the container to the left? It's up there where it says Tricell on it. You want to lay some proxy mines here, because when you run up the stairs, you're going to get a cutscene, which I've edited out, and hopefully you'll be able to dispatch these dogs. Make sure you have a flash grenade on here, because you can, when the good dogs turn into the La Plagas, you can use the flash grenades. There's also a chance that you'll get one of the heavy La Plaga monstrosities at the very end. I didn't, but I usually did get it. But it just so happens that you know, the ones that look like just bloated fish walking around there, they're really creepy. But you can take care of them with a flash grenade. So you don't necessarily have to have the flash grenades that you throw. You can use the flash rounds with the grenade launcher. So it's a pretty intimidating section, this first one here. So what we're going to do now is jump down here, run up, and don't run up too far. We're going to take out this heavy here. We've come a long way with these heavies, haven't we? Because now it's just 3 shots to their ugly faces, and then they're down. And now you have a choice. You can stand your ground here, or you can fall back when you see the dogs. I wouldn't blame you. But if you have the flash rounds with the grenade launcher, you'll take care of the one who's already sprouted the La Plaga stock. And this guy here normally turns into that bloated fish. So it's great times on the Tricell ship here. It's either him or the one I killed before him, or this guy. It's a really good really good likelihood, that they'll turn into one of the walking fish. And if you do get that, well, I'm going to be encountering one later in the chapter. I'll show you when I'm fighting him where to shoot him at, if you don't have any flash rounds. And if you're stuck on this chapter, which, you know, I hope you're watching my guide if you're stuck, because that tells me, you know, you have confidence in my guide. You'll probably realize what is up ahead that you're actually skipping. So if you didn't kill the 3 guys before, just restart the chapter. You're not losing very much at all. So here's the checkpoint. And we're just going to skip the whole business of getting the key card and getting ambushed, because I don't have any tolerance for games, and I don't respect games where there's a co-op partner and she can't be held, or he or she just can't be held responsible for their actions. You know, I want to be responsible for my actions, and that's it. So normally when you jump down here, the gate, you'll get separated from your partner. Sheva will get imprisoned, and you'll have to get a key card to get her out. So it's a very good way of just getting rid of that whole business and moving on to the next checkpoint location. So we're going to get another checkpoint like I intimated, and then we will go fight 2 heavies, get some dogs to throw down, and then do a large-scale fight, which is really challenging. And then we'll be fighting for the first time one of the cigar-chomping Gatling gun heavies. So I think I'm going to take this guy down with a shotgun because I'm running low on rifle rounds. So you just shoot them in their heads, do the quick time event to do damage, do the uppercut, and just make sure you get the drop that they give out, because it's 1,000. And I can confirm that it's highly possible to go through this game without maxing out all your inventory, grinding for money, farming for items. You don't have to do that. What I do sometimes is I go to, if I want my loadout a particular way, like at the very beginning of a chapter, I'll go to a level and just go to it, save my loadout, and exit out of it after quitting and saving, just so that I can start it with exactly what I need to, particularly when I'm doing a guide like this, so I don't have to do all that and waste your guys' time when I'm starting the chapter. So these lifts here, the lift on the side opposite of the one you want to ride up controls the one you want to ride up. So it's kind of annoying. So you get on it, and then you shoot this. That'll lift us up, and then we need to. It's just an on and off switch, is all it is. I might not have described it well enough, but just keep shooting it on and off, and you'll both get up here. And when you come over here, make sure you equip your flash rounds via the grenade launcher, because there's going to be a dog right around the corner. And he's not important because he can be killed very quickly. But the one behind you that spawns, see, he'll jump off. This guy is important though. And let's see, I think I have the melee vest on, because I wouldn't ordinarily be able to survive this in hell. You know, there was no guarantee that I would survive this. Just be very liberal with your shotgun there. And we have that large-scale fight coming up, and it's hard, not because you take a lot of damage on this difficulty, and not because there's a lot of enemies, just not for the normal reasons. It's very awkward doing cover-based mechanics in this game because it wasn't designed around those. This isn't Gears of War, and that's not a problem, you know. I'm actually very excited to play Gears of War Remastered, but that means that I have to buy an Xbox One, and I don't particularly want to have a VCR on the top of my desk. Like, how do you go so wrong with designing a console? Like, it's the ugliest piece of shit I think I've ever seen. And I don't necessarily want to have it, but I do want to have the Gears Remastered. Very much so. And that's coming out at the end of August. So this perspective that I'm doing now, it's holding the directional button forward, plus A, plus tilting the camera up or down. I just kind of like to do it. It's fun. It gives you a different perspective. So what we're going to do when we come down here is we're going to give Sheva this, because I don't like this. you can see that its design is influenced by the Striker of, I was going to say DMC4, but of RE4. It looks just like the Striker, but it's called the Jailbreaker. So we're going to give that to Sheva because I don't want it, and she doesn't have a good shotgun, so now she has one. Okay, so in this room there is a medallion to the right, there's that, and this is tough, it really is. Take out this guy right here, whose back is turned. Take out, you might not be able to see him because I'm going to be shooting through the bars, and my motivation for doing that, by the way, is once you go down, there's no coming back up, and there's going to be some spawners coming up here whom you can instantly kill with those proxy mines. So that enemy right there disrupted my proxy mines. Nice kick. And anyway, so just make sure that before you jump down, just make sure you have those proxy mines laid down, because I don't think I had the camera on it when these enemies got slaughtered, but they did get slaughtered, and that always makes me happy to know that I'm facilitating a massacre. Also, I have the grenade launcher on with the explosive rounds, and I have that on just... I think my rationale for that is I have hardly any rifle rounds, so having that on is going to be able to save the rounds that I need, but it doesn't make this fight easier. The reason for that is because when he goes out of cover with this, he stays out of cover for quite a long time. So I like to come over here. It's a little risky, but just put your bulletproof vest on. Have a couple of heals in your inventory and give Sheva some heals. Just watch how long he stays out of cover. See? It's kind of interesting, these mechanics. This game came out 3 years after Gears of War, and they obviously wanted something in their game that was representative of... That round seemed to have gone through the Twilight Zone right there. See, they wanted something, and I'm just guessing here. I have no idea what their minds were thinking, but this is what I meant. There's going to be a guy spawning right here, so I just love being proactive in these fights. Put one down. I put two, just to make sure they get hit. And it's always good to deal twice as much damage as well. So this is just a really long fight, and it's really easy to screw up, and there's a ton of enemies, but they don't rush you too much. A couple of guys walk towards you. The next guys are going to come out of this container. There's going to be one guy with a what are those called? The shock rods. And not even did he did not even get killed with... I shot a grenade at him, hit him point blank. He didn't get killed. So that's why I'm telling you there's no advantage just to have the grenade launcher, if you're thinking that I do have some kind of an advantage. And I don't like these oil drums down here, because when you shoot the incendiary tanks, they don't do an explosion, they just do a burning up. So this guy, he's the one throwing these grenades. Don't push up too much or you'll spawn more guys. So slow and steady will win you this race here, provided that you have the skills to do it and the patience. But anyway, I think what I'm doing right here is I'm trying to look to see if any of my mines have gotten destroyed, and I don't think they have quite yet. It's a very pedantic system. It just doesn't have the fluidity that Gears of War has, about just sliding in and out of cover, sidling along it, and doing everything really gracefully. It's very, very ungraceful. But that doesn't mean that in any way it's a bad game. Not whatsoever. So, I am still aiming up here to see if those guys got killed, and they haven't quite yet. But what will tell me that enemies have gotten killed up there is the... Do you know the vertical... You see the vertical glow that accompanies items so that you can see it from a distance? We'll see that from down here. It'll be a red one, meaning it's a weapon drop. Okay, so just make sure that you have the reflexes here to switch to the shotgun very quickly. And it looks like another container has opened up. I love how after they lose their heads, sometimes the game just can't catch up with it enough. And they keep firing, or they get in an extra hit. And it's quite unfair. Okay, so I don't think we killed that guy. I think we knocked him back. There are exploding canisters in that corner, but it's hard to hit them unless you have something that can arc over there, such as throwing a grenade. But they still didn't put an arc in this game, a visible arc. So when you come up here, there's going to be even more guys spawning. But you may have to kill this guy first. Just a ton of guys. And this guy's doing some acrobatics, and I can barely hit him. But pretty soon we're going to take him down, because he needs to be taken down ASAP. And pretty soon we'll have... Okay, this is the point at which you'll have those enemies spawning that I was laying down the proxy mines for. Now, let's see. Look to the upper right, and you should be able to see some item drops up there from their passing. If not, they may be coming in a bit. It's kind of hard to tell when they come in. Just a lot of bad angles here too. Okay. I like knowing that I've killed enemies. So that's why I'm kind of preoccupied right now trying to make sure that I've killed those guys up on that scaffolding. And I thought this was the last guy too, but I think there's another wave after this too, so it's pretty hellacious. And fortunately, to the game's massive credit, Sheva never died down here. And that's how it should have been the entire campaign, and it mostly is, you guys, but for those other instances, okay, I guess I overlooked it. For those other instances, like on the boss fight for the last chapter, I can't tell you how fast she, I mean, you'd have to play the game. She falls down like 9 out of 10 times. It's a miracle if she doesn't fall down, so how am I supposed to work with that? The only way you can work with that is to just keep rolling the dice every time, and that's the point at which I say, I'm not doing this shit anymore. I'm going to use something overpowered to just finish this fucking shit off, because I'm sick of it. I'm so fucking sick of it. So just be very careful here as you go around each corner, because every time you do, you'll have a spawner. And I think this is the guy that turned into the blowfish. These guys are the most terrifying guys for me. Possibly the last guy turned into that. And it just so happened that Sheva had a flash grenade for me. But I still had to go through the just ridiculous switching of everything. I mean, I think pedantic is the right word. It's just it's overly formal, and yeah, get out of my way. She was right in my way. I almost got killed. So what you want to do is hit the pinkish parts on their bodies. Do you see? Can you see where it is? The guy was barely on screen, but just look for the pinkish red areas, because see their tail. That's the way you hit them. Or excuse me, that is the area you hit them in. And the next part is fun and not too hard, but it's still challenging, and you do get a checkpoint. Gatling gun machine coming right up. So once you get this checkpoint here, if you place some mines here, be very careful, because if you place them too close to the ladder, then you won't get the context button to go up the ladder. So I placed them a little bit far away from the ladder, and once you come up here, or once you go down close enough to him on the ground floor, it's the protocol for staggering this guy is 2 successfully, like, point blank shots on his head. And you could do this perpetually if you want to, but I didn't want to go that route. But I did want to do about 4 or 5 staggered hits. So did you see how it took 3 hits to stagger him? That's because I wasn't particularly perfect with my headshots. Now, in one of the later chapters, either in the next chapter or 6-3, we'll face 2 of these guys at once, and it's a horrible arena. But this just goes on forever, because these guys are like huge automobiles. They're tanks, and they take a lot to take down. So just watch out, because these guys can shoot you through the catwalks. And what I'm trying to do here is lure this guy down the ladder, but he wasn't having it, because what's going to happen is he just walked right by them. But if he goes close to them, he will take damage. So over here, what I'm going to do is introduce this guy to the concept of iframes. See, I'm not getting damaged. And I'm going to put a magnum slug in his face and do the context button, which is really cool. And go up the ladder for more iframes. Try to get him to go on those mines. It's not crucial to get him on the mines. I would say it's just headshots, constant headshots with the magnum. This magnum is not upgraded all the way. And if you want more magnum rounds, you can just keep buying the magnums from the store. Only they don't carry over, though. So if you upgrade one magnum, it's not going to be a blanket upgrade for all of the particular magnums of that type, if you know what I mean. If you upgrade the L-Hawk to 3000 and buy another one, you're gonna have to upgrade it again. So it's not easy to do that, and actually, it's prohibited, so they don't let you do it. So there are some tanks around here if you want to, but I think a more aggressive approach on this guy is called for, just because while you're waiting for him to walk towards you, he's just going to be spamming his Gatling gun. Like, sometimes an instance like this will occur, but I assumed he would be coming on the ground floor, but he chucked a grenade, and I'm going to have to get around him somehow. So through the grace of God, I didn't die, and now I'm going to come down here, make sure Sheva follows me, and do my final stand. And this works pretty well if you're confident that you've hit him enough so that once you get to the final area where you're backed up against the wall, literally, that you can take him down before then. But I mean, just check this out. It's just perpetually staggering him. Very good, and he's down. And normally these guys drop a good prize, but for this, you just retrieve one of the 2 card keys, and the other one is in a safe, and I'll show you exactly where it is. So they're not too bad. The more you fight them, the better you'll be at them, obviously. But I don't think there's any denying that when you fight 2 of them, it gets a little bit trickier. But when we are fighting 2 of them, we're going to be using a turret, so it still requires a little bit of luck, though, which is unfortunate. And just one more fight, you guys, for this chapter, and then we will be ushered into 6-2. I don't know what its name is quite yet, but if you come over here, you'll be able to access the safe and get yourself the second card key. And the next room houses some of the face huggers, but primarily rocket launcher foes. But there's plenty of cover, so equip your heaviest machine guns here. And we're going to go through here. This is the final checkpoint of the chapter. It's not too bad. I'm going to actually rush this fight because the cover is pretty bad. It gets blown up. And so did I, apparently, right there. But Sheva gave me a revive. So when you come down here, just remember that these guys are going to jump out of that crate. And I think that's a good way to do it. Just jump down here. Force everybody's hand to back off. And just carefully take these guys down. There's a couple of treasures over here. A couple of cadavers. Giving us an indication that there's some treasures over here. Also, I don't think I mentioned it, but when you pick up items, you get iframes too. So that's what I'm doing over here. I'm trying to pick these up, knowing that I'm getting shot at, but also knowing that I'm safe during the animation of grabbing it, which is mind-blowing and should be the standard for games. To have as many iframes as possible, so that the player, when he has the knowledge to use them, can capitalize on them and use it in a skillful way. I mean, you don't have to have iframes 100% of the time, because that would just, that would negate what the game is. But just certain of them to have iframes, and you'll be successful. And that's what I'm trying to do, and usher everybody to success with this guide. Take care.